CBC in Canada, they released a documentary called Deconstructing Karen. And what it's about is white women attending a dinner party. And I guess they've actually willingly submitted themselves to this, where the white women invite or pay or render the services of black women of color, to chastise them, to berate them.
Educate.
Is this?
For being racist. We have a clip.
Let me ask you a question. How many of you would trade places with a black person in this society? Raise your hand.
Nobody.
I don't know the answer to that.
Well, it's yes or no. How many of you would do it?
I know I wouldn't.
I mean, I dated a Hispanic, very dark.
No, I'm not talking about
What?
The question is
that I was going to have children. So I spent many years thinking of myself as having very dark-skinned children.
The question is, how many
What, they have
of
jaundice?
you would be willing to trade
sad
places
violin.
in this society with a black person?
I think I would.
Absolutely. Okay.
I'm not saying there's not racism. Absolutely not. It's just saying
stupid
I
question.
don't see it.
Yeah, but you know how racist this country
Not
is.
to the degree that you do.
Oh,
to
no,
be
you
frank
will
with you.
never know.
Are they talking about
in
Canada?
this country, we created the criminalization of black people.
I'm sorry, what?
And when your skin
What?
is seen as a weapon, you're never unarmed. And that's why black boys and men and women are dying in the street with their hands up.
Oh, with our hands.
Okay, old.
Oh, come on.
Okay, older, slightly thicker-haired Jada Pinkett Smith.
Somebody's getting slapped.
Wait, when your skin
She's got some hair.
is a weapon, you are always armed?
Even when
Also,
you're-
all white people are devils. I just like to make that clear.
That's exactly what Sue said.
What do they do? What are they doing at the scene of the crime? In a little baggie, they'd have a skin graft? Like, oh, he was carrying a 44 melanin. What's the
Locked and loaded.
This is just what. First off, I don't know if this is taking place at CBC. I don't know if they're trying to say that
Right.
the United States is racist or Canada is racist. A lot of people don't realize that slavery existed all across the globe, including places like Canada, including other English, British colonies. And by the way, can you guys bring up the definition of racism while we
It's
sort of
important. Yeah.
a belief that a race is a fundamental determinant of human traits and capacities, and that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race.
A particular race. So this is
No, you're missing. The most important part is the superiority.
Right.
It's not the differences. They lump it all in. The idea that a race is superior because of racial characteristics. That's the important component of the definition, not that there are differences. And let me just say this really quickly is we talked about this I don't know if it was last week. Look, if I say, for example, and if you agree with everything and then say, no, that's my thing, and you get offended, you have a problem. It could be the same principle here applied to gender. If I say, for example, hey, men are primarily providers, protectors. Men need to be held accountable. Men shouldn't be cheating. Being a philandering prick is a bad thing. And you could say yes. And I say, and women, by the way, have a role in the household of being submissive to their husband. No, wait. Well, then hold on a second. That's a you problem. Now, if I were to say that Asians, on average, here in the United States, score higher on their SATs or IQ tests typically than members of all other races as a general rule, of course you would have to accept it because Brown and Harvard had to create a policy to say no more of you because that's the case. Now, if I were to say, hey, black people, the fastest black runners tend to be faster than the fastest white runners, you would look at the world records 1 through 25 and say, oh, okay, all right, that makes sense. Now, if I were to say Asians on average score higher on the SATs or have higher IQs on average than black people, no, wait, then you have a problem. That's a you problem. You're not being honest. You're reacting with a guttural, emotional response. And that's the issue that they're playing on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and what I was saying there is black people can be racist too. That's the thing that I've heard from so many people is
Equality.
that racism can only go one way. It's white people against black people or other, races, Asians, whatever it is. But black people can be racist too. And some of the things she said there were kind of racist. Like that question is stupid to me. Would you trade places
So
with
are
a
the
black
white women.
person?
Not because
I
they're white.
dated a Mexican once.
Yes.
Yeah, what is that, street cred? And I've had to think about my son having dark skin.
I didn't, though.
What? That was so weird.
What a weird aside story there.
She said.
Would you cover them in pancake? Why would you have a dark kid? What's wrong with you?
Well, the odds are,
could be
kind of
your
even. That they'll
hero,
be,
baby.
looking just like you. But that's a stupid question because nobody really understands what it would be like to trade places with any other human being, much less somebody of a different race or culture. Right?
Right.
So you ask that question to just set it up like black people have it so rough that you would never want to trade places. Really, LeBron James does? He has it so rough that I would never want to trade places with LeBron James. I can't find a single white person that doesn't want to be that would not like to be LeBron.
Well, I've said this before.
That's
It's
an
like
extreme outlier, but yes.
my brother, he's full black, all black, right?
Yeah.
He goes into a store and goes.
Wait, how did that happen? How's your brother full black? Is it like the? I was gonna say, is it like the Muppets where when Kermit and Piggy have kids, and all the boys are frogs and all the girls are piggies?
Okay. Yeah. No, he's adapted. So he goes into stores and he gets pulled over by the cop once, and he's like, "I'm getting racially profiled. I was driving while black." And I'm like, "Dude, I've been pulled over like 6 times." Okay.
Yeah.
And I got pulled over out of the car, searched the car, all this stuff. Just because I had a late shift. I was driving at night a lot, so I got pulled over all the time.
Yes.
And I'm like, you saw the same thing that happens to everybody else in the world.
Sure.
But you see it because you're black. You go, I am being racially oppressed. It's like, no, you're just experiencing life like everybody else does. You're not special. Everybody has bad things happen to them.
And of course, are there racists out there? No one is denying that.
Yeah.
But the only person I see there who is a racist at that table, definitively, is that old black lady. Definitively. She is the one making these broad generalizations. Now I get it. The white women, maybe they're dumb, granted, and they're oblivious, of course. But they're just saying, well, I'm not saying there's not racism. I'm just saying that, I don't see it as much, or I'm not racist. She's going, yeah, but it's a weapon. If you have dark skin. Yeah, but this is an inherently racist country. Yeah, but we have white people have criminalized black. Those are generalizations that, first off, are untrue and also are intensely racist. That's the only racist. I'm not saying that all black people are racist, just like I'm not saying all white people are racist. At that table, that documentary, the irony should not be lost on you. The only racist sitting there is the old, slightly thicker-haired Jada Pinkett Smith.
We have some stats as well. So from Rasmussen, 18% of people polled said most white Americans are racist, but 25% believe most black Americans were racist. And then among blacks themselves, black Americans, 31% think most blacks are racist compared to 24% consider most whites racist. So even black people say that
black people are like,
racist.
yeah, we're racist.
There's a lot of, like, even within, you could be 100% black and still have different skin tones. They can treat you differently because you have light skin or dark skin. It's definitely a thing.
I saw that the other day. They were saying that about the light-skinned person, or the darker-skinned person was saying that a light-skinned black person doesn't have it the same in this country.
They don't count because they could
you don't
be
have the same experience as
white aligned or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like these things don't make any sense.
We need a chart of like skin shades and calipers. Like, well, hold on a second. If they're a little bit, like if it's cream coffee, that's a 22. Okay. If you start getting into, the slightly darker territory, like this would be the sort of Will Smith category. Well, you're now dealing with, maybe a 380 ACP. And then, of course, once you get to the Allstate guy, you're at 45.
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes up at the very top.
Snipes,
I mean, there's not even a number.
And then, of course, we have up at the 300 blackout, that is the pirate from Captain Phillips. So,
indeed. Scraggly beard.
I am the winner.
Yes. Just think, this is the problem with, we have it so good right now that everything is a fabricated problem where we have to try and create more racism where it doesn't. And make no mistake, this documentary is going to create more racism. This is my concern. We grew up in a post-racial America. We really did. Yeah. And if you're a young person right now and you're growing up and this is the kind of content that you are consuming, you are going to be more racist than millennials or older Generation Z who grew up where Fresh Prince, Family Matt, right? Yeah. There wasn't a BET. Huge. It wasn't so fractured. If you grew up with a diet of this, you are going to resent people solely based on their race.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.